Okay, the computer decided it needed to do updates and everything else, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this now while I can. So basically, just a plug and play. Receiver in. Each servo that's if you are just replacing your H1. Kind of hard for me to do this. Gosh dang it, get in there. There you go. Should have got my tripod. Okay, so it's all them in there. And then we just got to take this off, which is, I use some daggum good double-sided sticky tape on this thing. Let's see. All right. Oh, I got some. There it is. A bit of denatured or just regular alcohol. Clean that off. And I'll clean that off. And then, let's see where they at. I have my own foam double-sided sticky pads that I use for my builds. Let me see, I'm gonna put it here. This is going to make for fun plugging into for scale. That's for sure. Okay, well, my computer's still updating, so once it gets done, I'll continue with the video. Okay, so I switched to ESC to my Hobbywing 60 amp because I can't stand the ones that come with the line. So right now I'm in the software and I am doing the swash. You can see that I've already adjusted it, but I'm going to show you basically what you'll be doing here. So if you have a swash leveling tool like this is, I highly recommend these. They work really well. Of course, obviously you have to move your main blade. You're going to come to the software, and right there where it says servo back to center, you're going to click on that, and when you do that, all your servos will go up. Okay, all of these will go up. Now if one goes down, then you come over to the software and you hit reverse. It says OBV. I don't know what that means, but it should be normal. But you can see I already had to switch one of my servos because it was actually traveling down instead of going up. And you also can do that with your tail servo in the software. Anyway, so once you click on that down at the bottom, and you're going to go in and you're going to use these sliders to move your servo arms up and down until all three of those make contact with the little points there. Okay, so you want to make sure they all are touching on all three sides, which mine are. Okay, then once you get done with adjusting them out, then you're going to hit done, and you'll hear your servos actually drop. So if you look at it, this is at the basically the relaxed state because my throttle stick is down all the way. And just make sure they're all sitting there. I'm setting this up right now in, I want to say it's just in looks like it's in GPS mode. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It seems to be adjusting like it should. So anyway, once you get that set up, then you'll go on to your collective pitch right here, and I'm gonna start a new video here on setting up your positive 12 and your negative 12 pitch. So let me go ahead and get the head back on, mount it in place, and then when I come back, I'll have a pitch gauge on here to do the adjustments for that. Okay, took me a minute, got this back on. Got my pitch gauge here, and I know a lot of you guys have different ways you like to zero out your pitch gauges and stuff. Well, the way I like to do mine is I like to take my pitch gauge and set it on top of the motor here. I'm going to try to do this with one hand. And when you set it on there, you zero it out. Okay. Once you have that zeroed out, you only need one blade to do this. And the reason why I say that is when you build your helicopter, and if these are the same length on both sides and your swash plate is level, these two better be identical. Okay, anyway, so I'm on there, and right now it's at 15.3, and that's because I need to come over here and go to max positive, which we all know 22 is a lot. So go over here, I'm gonna bring this bad boy down. I brought it down all the way, which obviously that's like way too much. Let me back off of here. So, and this is nice when you have a wireless mouse. You can actually use your scroll wheel and scroll it to get what you want. We're gonna leave it there for now because I'm gonna do another one here too in a minute. All right, so now we're gonna do max down or negative. We're gonna change that one here. Come on. There we go. Now this is for the negative 12, and a positive 12 is for if you're going to be doing 3D flying. If you're going to be scale, obviously you're not going to do a negative 12 because you're not going to be flying inverted. So it's best just to set that one probably around -9, Basically what I'm doing is I'm going back and forth to these adjustments until I get close to identical. 12. I mean, if I don't have a negative 12 exactly, I don't think it's going to kill me. 12, 1. Close enough. So once you get those done, you'll come over here and click on done. So now with my throttle stick all the way down, negative 12, all the way stick up, I'm at 12. Stick down, negative 12, 12. There we go. Okay, so that's how you set up your pitch, your collective pitch. Yours won't look like mine. Obviously, every helicopter is different, but that's how you set it up. Now, a lot of those people who did the H1, you had max positive, center, negative. This one only has the up max, positive, and negative. So I'm going to now work on the tail. And when I come back, I'm going to have it situated probably a little bit different so I can work on it easier. But yeah, that's how you basically do your main blade setup. So if I let go of that, yeah, she's fine. At any rate, I'm going to get set up for the tail section next. Okay, now we're going on to the tail. Right now, let me go ahead, we'll click on center, and as you can see on the slider that there's a gap. I'm going to rotate it a little bit more between these two pieces here and the gap between here and the body. So essentially it's set to center right now. And come on, mouse, work for me here. Great. I'm gonna have to do it by touchpad here. So I'm clicking on the center, and that should be pretty much center, but we'll see in a second. When you click on far left, this slider, you notice, move far left, but you see that little bitty gap that's right here. Okay. You need to move your slider over. That's what I'm doing now, but it goes small increments. I don't know why my mouse ain't working. It's so much easier with the mouse. Okay, well, I'm gonna do it without a mouse. Sorry for the filming here, but it's hard to do it with one hand. You want to move it until you kind of hear it bind up. You'll hear your servo. Let's see, that's about almost there. Now I just hit back center. I'm gonna go far right, and it's not gonna focus in. There we go. You can kind of see where this piece right here is touching this here, but there's a little gap there. And we're going to go ahead and move that over just a little bit. if you can hear the buzzing sound. I don't know if you can hear it or not. That means you're too far. You need to back it off. Okay, so then what I do is I'll click on center, and then I go far left, and I make sure that that is still where I had it set originally. Then I go back to far right. Oh, she's still twitching a little bit. So, well, let's back it off a little bit. Then I'll go back to center, back to far left, back to center. I'm basically just exercising to make sure it stays the same, nothing, you know, doesn't change. Okay, so once you get all that done and you do it a couple times and you come back over to your computer, okay, because I was hitting, you know, center, far left, far right. Once you get that adjusted, hit done. But also, like I said, if you was to come down here, like, it doesn't matter, I can do it again. So if I hit far right, okay, and this thing right here went this way when I hit far right, then you need to come over here and you need to flip your tail servo. Just click on that little box there, and then if you hit far right, that slider is going to move to the right. Okay, and that's how that works. So go ahead and hit done. So that's saved in. So essentially the tail is now set up. Okay, and like I was saying in another video, that when you're moving your rudder stick, if I'm trying to get both of these in picture here so you can kind of get the gist of what I'm talking about. So when you move your stick to the left, the slider should move to the right. And then when you move your stick to the right, the slider will move to the left. Okay, that is correct. So don't think if you do this, this needs to go this way, because if you do, trust me, you're going to regret it, because when you go to take off, this thing's just going to go in a tornado spin circle to the left. The tail is going to shoot around counterclockwise because now it's wanting to do this. And yeah, so just make sure that once you get done setting up everything, double check yourself. Left, slider moves right. To the right, slider moves left. Okay, so the last tab is, well, so far as sensors. This is where you're going to actually do the calibration dance, which I'm pretty much is about the same if you look in the manual. So basically, if let's just say you're going to take your helicopter and you're going to do 2 rotations on its yaw axis, flip it up, you're going to do 2 rotations, and I'll have to look at the manual, but there's another 2 rotations, you keep doing it. I'm going to do the this calibration dance. Obviously I'm not going to film it because I don't have a tripod, but I'm going to do it, and then once I see how it worked for sure, then I'll definitely let you guys know in the video. So I'm going to try doing the calibration really quick and see what happens. Okay, so basically the calibration works the same way as the H1 does. And once you do it, and on your screen, I didn't have the automatic restart check, so that's why it came up. It says calibration successful, you must restart flight controller to complete the calibration. So let's go ahead and restart that, unplug your battery, unplug that. You heard the little chimey chime. We're going to go ahead and plug that back in.
Telemetry recovered.
Come back over to the computer. Hit load. So we're connected. Everything. So the last thing is the parameters, and this is just kind of like this acro mode, pretty much almost the same as the H1. Over here to the right, it gives you a lot of definitions of what these change, or what you do when you change over here, what they do to it. And then of course down here in GPS ADI mode, because the top one is basically ARCO, which is another word for 3D. This one here is your GPS and ADI mode, your stabilization flight, and then you have your max speed, which we're all familiar with that one, alto hold gain, I believe altitude hold sensitivity. So that right there will tell you what your altitude hold will do. And then your soft takeoff, soft landing, and then your loitering coordinated turns. I'm gonna go ahead and leave these off for the time being. I would just want to get the test hover done and see what it does. And then if you think you screwed up really bad, you can come down here and hit factory reset and start the setup process all over again. So for the time being, it's dark here, so I'm not going to go try to hover this in my front yard or backyard because it's not bright enough. But I am going to take this outside and set it and see what kind of satellites I'm getting. So I'll start another video on that here in a minute. Okay, decided to come outside and see how many satellites I'm getting. I put both of them on there just to see. Once you first power it on, you'll notice the greens will blink as it's trying to get satellite locks. And when I was watching it, I think it was right around 11 to, I think it was 11, 13 satellites. This one went solid. The H2 was blinking green still. And then once I think it got to like 14 or 15, that stayed solid and that stayed solid. So this is your satellite count. I've been sitting out here for about a minute or two, which usually the first initial boot up, it takes a little bit longer. But the GPS 2, which is the M10, she's sitting at 16, and the new one is sitting at 23. I'm gonna let it sit out here a little bit longer, see how many if I finally get. But I did notice this GPS 1 distance and GPS 2 distance. It's in centimeters, and I adjusted mine accordingly. And what that says here is GPS distance setting measures the distance from the GPS module to the helicopter's main shaft to optimize the spin effect. I'm gonna have to ask them at Flywing, what does that mean? It doesn't go in great detail, doesn't say it in the manual. So I'll find out what that means. But like I said, I'm gonna just let it sit out here for a little bit longer and we'll see what we get. Okay, so I've been letting it sit here for another, I think it was 2 minutes or 3 minutes, so it didn't go up much. But while I was doing that, I was messing around with something here since it's in GPS mode. And normally when you are in GPS mode,
Acro mode on.
because that's acro mode, lights are blue, you have control the sticks.
3D mode.
3D mode, same thing. Okay, the blue lights.
GPS mode.
Remember before you didn't have control? GPS mode. Now watch this. I'm gonna spool this thing up, and once I actually activate, you know, by holding this down left, once it arms the, well, not arms the motor, but starts blinking the lights on these units here, you'll watch these servos, they'll jump up to their level. And then when you flip your arm switch, it spools up. On radios like this, that's halfway point, that beep. When you go up just a little bit, and I'll do it, watch how slow these arms go up. Okay, it's really cool. I'm guessing that's part of the slow takeoff mode. So I'm gonna arm it and watch these arms and the lights start blinking. So here we go. Now I'm gonna arm it.
Engines armed.
Watch it when it gets, you'll hear the RPMs level out. And then when I move the stick up, watch how slow those irons move. And if y'all was watching this arm right here, it was just going up real slow. Hold this way, deactivates it. So yeah, it's kind of neat. Hopefully this weekend I'll get to maiden it. Well, I'll be videoing it obviously. So, oh, yeah, GPS fell over. But I'm not gonna fly with that one. But I mean, 25, 17, it's fairly clear skies here in South Texas. But of course I'm like right up against my house and got a light that keeps going on and off, and I'm on top of a steel bed or aluminum bed, which is metal. So I mean, I might be interfering with it, but now keep in mind I did do this calibration, the compass calibration, in my garage. I will do this standing in my backyard again, hence why I have a 10-foot long cable here. Makes it so much easier to do the calibrations, and I'll film that too as well. Alrighty, going to be the maiden flight with the new Flywing H2. Did all the setups this week. Just redid the compass calibration outside of my backyard. So now going to do the maiden hover and see what parameters I may have to adjust. And be all honest, let's see how the first test flight goes and go from there. Let's see if I can make sure that I get this in frame here. Alrighty. Let's see. Switch is right. Unlock. Arm the motor. Here we go. Yeah, probably a little adjustments in there. You got to see the tag. Tail is doing a little wag on me there. This is all factory settings, pretty much. I can't do a lot of flying in my backyard, like big coordinated turns, obviously. I'm just pretty much seeing how responsive it is. I don't know if y'all can see the trees in the background. They're kind of moving a little bit. But if you look at my tail, she's kind of hunting, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of adjustment on that. Yaw rate's a little slow for my liking. Well, like I said, it needs to be adjusted in. That's full yaw rate. That's a little slow. Although it does look a lot better when you go to bank into a turn, if I can coordinate my turns. But like I said, this is just a starting flight for me, or beginner, maiden, how you want to call it. Yeah, that yaw rate needs to be turned up. Definitely different from the H1, that's for sure. All right, batteries, I know it's getting low. This is a small battery. Excuse the dog. I mean, not bad at all. Like I said, I still got more adjustments to do in the software. Like I said, the yaw rate was kind of slow. I'm going off of default settings. The only thing I did increase was the head speed from factory was at 60. I put it at 72. That's a 6S battery pack on there. That's why it's got a hell of a head speed. But other than that, I mean, a little more tweaking the software, I think she'll be perfect. I'm gonna try to mess with it later today. I got a bunch of stuff to do today. Maybe tomorrow I'll bring it out here after I do some more yaw adjustments. But for all you guys out there that were, wondering about it, if I had time this weekend, which I doubt it, I'd take it to a bigger park so I can actually fly, because as you can see my backyard, I mean, it looks big on this camera zoomed out like that, but it's not that big, and plus I don't want to hit that. But I mean, so far setup was fairly simple. I got some questions answered last night that I was asking the guys at Flywing. So, but yeah, I don't know if I'm the first one in the United States, or rather than the guys at Flywing that flew with the H2, but so far it's pretty solid. And like I said, just a couple more adjustments and we'll go from there and see what she does. Got any questions, just ask and I'll try my best to answer them for you. All right.
Engines armed.
Still gotta get that yaw rate up a little bit more. Doing little test flights here.
Engines armed.
All right, so there's 3 different settings now. We have like soft, you can hear the RPMs change. I have to look at the other ones, but there's 3 different ones, but you can hear the head speed go up to the next one above it. So you get a little bit more maneuver out of it, that's for sure. But it's also in GPS mode. Crazy. Still got more stuff to learn on this thing. Woo! Oh yeah. That's almost like you can fly 3D, but with GPS mode. That thing is quick. I'm not a 3D pilot, so hopefully there's guys out here who do 3D flying can give a good test on that. That's very sensitive. I wish I just had a bigger backyard, but that's me swaying it back and forth and letting go of the sticks.
Engines disarmed.
So what I'm getting at, I'll hook it up to the software here in a minute. And I have it signed to this switch here. This is my return to home now.
Return to home.
So, and this is the GPS, acro mode,
3D mode.
3 mode.
GPS mode.
So this is, right now it's in soft, which is very docile, very slow moving. I'm gonna go look at the computer, but it's just 3 stages. And as you go from this soft to the next stage, your head speed will increase. And I'm assuming I do this more, it's gonna increase even more, which I don't know if I'm enough time to do that here. I gotta go do something around the house before we start getting some rain here today. But I did some more adjustments, but I'm gonna talk to guys at Flywing because everybody's wanting to know about the soft start or the soft takeoff, where it's, you know, scale, where it comes up slow, it doesn't just jump. I'm still learning all that, but just bear with me, guys. Like I said, I have a full-time job. This is not my full-time job. I wish it was, but it's not. But I'm gonna go look at that program real quick, and I'll come back with another video and show you what I'm talking about.